Welcome to the Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Very special edition of Edge of NFT.
LivelyVerse.
And Web3 with Vali.
So if you notice, we have three really unique podcasts that have come together for this special Creators Roundtable. We all have shared some common interests and content focus areas, but also have some differences in our audiences and perspectives from where we all podcast. So for those of you that don't know, I'm based in the United States, and that's where a good amount of our audience started, but it's now global. And what about you, Gabby?
Well, I'm from Spain, from Madrid, and I studied journalism, social communication. I worked very much on the media side, and then I started on the blockchain side, and I think Dubai is perfect place for that.
Yeah, all coming together. And our host, the host of Future Blockchain Summit, and has become a fast friend. Vali, you're based here in Dubai, yeah?
I'm based here in Dubai, though I'm from Bangalore, and I live a bit in Bali. But technically, I've just been all over the world in the last couple of years, actually.
And your audience, you said, is a mix of English audience, but also Hindi, yes?
Yes, because I can boast about having the maximum number of audience in the world, because Hindi and India right now is the most populous country in the world and has the maximum number of youth. But it's a different, it's a difficult balance between Hindi and English. So we call it English, because we might just switch into talking into Hindi and English. But then most of our speakers are English speaking. So that's at times mostly into English, but it's a mix of both.
Very cool. And, I will say the Latin audience is catching up, a growing population globally. That's your primary audience. And you were telling me that your content is actually in Spanish, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So what we are doing, we have our own TV show in Latin America. So yeah, most of our audience is based in the Spanish countries and the whole Latin America region. And, it's this region, it's getting involved a lot into blockchain. So we're trying to bring more knowledge into these countries through TV show, which is for massive person.
Yeah, I don't think everyone realizes how much activity is happening in the Latin community. I mean, obviously, it was big news with El Salvador adopting Bitcoin, and that sort of shone some light. And now I hear about all these conferences in South America and Latin America that I want to go to. So we'll have to sort of head over your way soon.
You know what is happening with Latin America? They don't trust their own coin. So the thing is, the blockchain and the cryptocurrency is like a way for their financial inclusion for all these people. They need financial inclusion. So when they start to get involved into blockchain and crypto, it's a way to save a little bit, to get involved in another coin that they know that they can save better than their own coin.
It makes sense. So we were fascinated and I'd love to get into why we all started podcasting around the same time, which is very serendipitous. When we started our show, Edge of NFT, we immediately saw a spike in viewership, actually in not just Europe, but also Asia and Latin America. And we're really curious about that. And it became clear that over the last few years, a lot of folks have turned to Web3 and blockchain, I think, for hope, for financial independence, for empowerment, for the opportunity to sort of be able to sort of be more entrepreneurial and innovative where they might have barriers to that right now. So I think that was really eye-opening for me, that now our audience is in over 90 countries. But why do we all decide to do this, right? There's 2 million podcasts in the world. It's not the easiest thing to do and to grow an audience like we all have. And we all started around the same time. what was going through your mind, Vali, back then when you got started? What made you decide to get into podcasting?
Okay, so I have a sad story to this. I've been active on stage for over 18 years of my life. But back then, I think when I was like 14 years old in the entertainment industry, my son passed away. And I couldn't go ahead and perform. I couldn't make anybody laugh on stage. I couldn't go back on stage and pump in the same energy that I had. And over a period of time, I went broke. So I couldn't buy even diapers or milk for my kids. And when I called people asking them for shows or for events, they were like, hey bro, I thought you quit. I'm like, no, I didn't quit. Do you have any work for me? Right? I would love to get back on stage, but I wasn't getting shows to be on. And then somehow randomly watching a YouTube video, I saw someone blogging. And I'm like, damn, I can do this. Right? And then slowly from there, I started creating content. And when I got into Web3, I think the easiest transition was for me to stop creating lifestyle content and start creating Web3 content. So that is how my journey span from creating lifestyle content to creating content on blockchain and on Web3 and crypto.
Very cool. And Gabby, you mentioned your background in media and journalism. So I guess it wasn't a big stretch for you to do this, but I am still curious why start a Web3 podcast a couple years ago? Like, what inspired your journey?
Well, the thing is like, yes, my background is more in media, more in the journalist side. But when I started to work on the blockchain, and also I met Parsa Basi, the other co-founder, we say, hey, why don't we merge these two things? He's more techie, more finance, and me more on the media side. So I decided to get my contacts from the media, from previously TVs that I used to work, and I say, hey, what if we create a new TV show that brings to the people the knowledge about the new technologies, about what is going on, what is the metaverse, because all these technologies are super complicated. People don't understand. Most of the people don't understand what is going on. Also, if you go to the TV, you don't see this kind of news. Of course, we are careful about all the projects that we bring because there is like a lot of scammer in this world for sure. So we are very careful about it. But we are very happy. I think we are having good results, and people like it to know about these things. And I think we are doing good because it's people which is not in the community, but it's starting to get know more about this world.
Very cool. So on my end, I had no background in media in a sense. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I had a food tech company back in the day that actually was unique in the sense that we decentralized meal production. And we co-branded with chefs. We put the meal, the name of the chef on the label with the meal. And we did this sort of nationally in the US. Actually, somewhat similar to the Tiffin model in India. And, through that process, I learned a lot about marketplaces around sort of communities. We worked with all these different yoga studios and fitness centers, all these different health professionals. And so I got into blockchain at some point as an advisor, investor in this space with my co-host Jeff, and also I'll tell you how we met Ethan. But essentially, I realized, wow, Web3 superpowers, all the things that I think about as disruptive, innovative possibilities. It really is an incredible tool set. And so we started the podcast just out of our own curiosity to learn more as a forcing function. And, the first shows were asking a lot of questions and maybe, layman questions, but over the time of doing over 300 shows now, I think we know a thing or two about this space, but that's how it all started. And of course, that gave us the trust and credibility to then do NFTLA, which we call now Outer Edge LA, and got to meet people like Mark Cuban and William Shatner this year. And really bring people together. I think it comes from a passion for edutainment and to, create deeper connections in the space, allow people to thrive and to benefit from this incredibly powerful technology. And, we want to cover everything. There's some shows that are very specific to trading or to PFP projects or to infrastructure. We cover it all. So from the metaverse to gaming, to infrastructure, to real estate. We interviewed someone that sold their first house on the blockchain, which was incredible. I think something about the name Edge of NFT has forced people to sort of come to us with pitches that are truly at the edge of innovation. And of course,
are you being sarcastic there?
No, it's we get a lot of pitches, but I think that was like a really a special part of the name we chose for the show, is that it did sort of create this sort of pressure, like, oh, I'm at the edge for this reason or that. And it also creates some pressure for us to make sure we cover things that are truly at the edge, not over the edge, but at the edge. Yeah.
I'm very curious to know from you guys that when you guys started creating content around Web3 and the stuff, how easy or how challenging was for you to get your first few guests?
So I'd been in the space since 2017, and so I just called favors to friends. So the first 10 guests were a little bit harder, not that hard, but not everyone wants to be first, right? After that, it just picked up. And somewhere along the way, around like maybe show 15 or 20, the inbound came. And during the peak of the market, we were getting 300 requests, a month, and we were booked for months and months and months, and we had no problem getting guests. So there's always this inflection point. But at the beginning, there's a little bit of like powers of persuasion there. How about you?
Well, I think that the advantage of having the TV show is that when people know that it's a TV, they are more likely to accept the invitation, because it's like, okay, it's TV, yeah, I'm going. We were having an issue anyway with the production because they wanted more Spanish people. So that was a little bit tricky for us, because, we bring like super great people from other countries. We wanted to make it more international. But the thing is, now with AI, with the technology, we can bring anybody to our show, because we can translate it perfectly. And there's no issue there.
Oh, that's
cool.
Issue
with that. So
what tool do you use for that?
We have the program that captions AI. We have different programs.
Nice.
It's perfect for us,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
There's some great tools now for podcasters and content creators. We use a new tool called Cast Magic. I don't know if you all have heard about that tool, but they're one of our new partners. If you just like plop in your audio and video, it translates the whole thing into a full script with key moments, quotes, socials, everything, all in one snap. It's pretty cool stuff. I'll get you guys into hooked up. Yeah, but that was a new discovery just randomly a few months ago, and there is incredible technology to make it easier for podcasting. But I will say, I don't know if you run into this, but I'm not sure people appreciate the nuance of the process to do a podcast. Like, to set this up, it took us about an hour of prep, and we put a lot of time into pre-production, post-production, distribution, and sometimes I think people don't always appreciate the art of it, right? And we're on cable too, so that's an extra level of effort in terms of making the quality very high.
Now, I think people don't realize very much how much effort it takes to make produce content. In this, it's like from the idea, from the realization, how you do the preparations, and after that, then you make the production. And on TV, oh my God, it's crazy. We have a lot of stress sometimes. We get crazy with that.
I have a different take to this. My take is because I've been on radio, I've been on stage, and I've been on TV, and I've been in cinemas too, and in plays. And one thing that I realize is that the audience doesn't really give a damn about your production quality. The audience doesn't really give a damn about how well have you prepared The audience only gives a damn about the impact that you're creating. Like even at this point of time, the conversation that we're having and whatever are the key takeaways. It is because we understand, we kind of give it that important, but our audience does not give a damn. Exactly the way I think blockchain should be, that they shouldn't even know that this is running on blockchain or this is running on Web2, as long as it seamlessly serves their purpose. So nobody really gives a damn on how much time have you taken to dress up, or the makeup that you put on and the stuff.
It's the same. It's the same with food, right? Like if you eat an incredible meal, do you really know if it took 5 hours to make it or 30 minutes? No, you just want to eat great food, right?
We saw that all the time in the social media. Maybe you see like a video which is like homemade video, whatever, but it gets, full of viewers, and it's about how deep is that message. How deep is the message that you are spreading? So
at the same time, and there are some more produced Twitter Spaces. I think doing video content, doing a podcast, it does take more effort, more resources, but it's worth it, because I think we are making an impact together in this space, and we're reaching a lot of different audiences.
Add on to Twitter Spaces, I'm the founding member of the world's largest Twitter Space. It's called the Roundtable by Mario Vaibhavv.
Yep.
And when we started off, and before every Twitter Space, and the Twitter Spaces that Mario hosted and we supported, went for 16 hours a day, right? And it was insane. It was unbelievable that people kind of stuck up and, heard everything that was being said. And there was a lot of prep there, a lot of data points, because we needed to make sure that nothing is said out of our asses, for lack of better words, right? We had to be very clear, and we had to verify the data points. So the entire team would verify, and then somebody would send it to him saying that this is verified. Now you can go ahead and talk about it or put up that claim, because the FTX buzz and all of this started from the space, and very few people would have had the courage to do so, and he could do so because the team working behind him. And in fact, for any successful content creator, there is a huge team working behind them to do the R&D, to do the research, to know more about the speaker and all of that, and the edit team, because post-production is a different ballgame altogether.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we've done some impromptu content, and it's all good, but I like to be prepared, because I feel like it creates a deeper, more meaningful conversation. And we're hitting different audiences, right? So I'm really curious, sort of, what is the perspective of the Latino audience on this space? What's the perspective of the Hindu audience on this space? Like, what's going on in the respective parts of the world? Because we're covering a lot of territory here with our different audiences in sort of the places we call home in terms of where we're broadcasting. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, in Latin America right now, it's so much going on also in different regions. For example, in Argentina, the country that I'm from, in Argentina is going on a lot in the crypto space. It's one of the countries that is using more crypto. So, for example, there, if you see like right now the news, there's almost one of the candidates for the president, Milei. He's trying to get the crypto and make them the regulations in favor of the crypto worlds. And right now, you can see the case of El Salvador. You can see Mexico also. Right now, there are banks that are getting involved in the crypto industry. Right now, there's a lot of them that are more likely to join to this movement. So,
how does that affect like the grassroots level of are more folks getting into this space? Are entrepreneurs from other industries sort of introducing blockchain technology?
Yeah. Yes. And also, for example, in the gaming space, it's blooming. It's blooming there. It's totally blooming. But The community is not our crypto community. It's not someone that is going to hear a podcast because they know what is the podcast is about. It's in the middle of the news, normal news. So we have to do it in a way that everybody is going to understand, that is going to be simple, and that we can start to teaching people how is this work.
I think that's great. I think that's all where the industry needs to go. I think some of the most interesting projects right now, I use NFL Rivals. It's a game by Mythical Games that I'm addicted to. You play this game, you have no idea there's anything to do with blockchain or crypto. And you look at what Luca's done with Pudgy Penguins. If you look at their website, no idea that it's blockchain. It's just about this powerful technology that makes that fan connection deeper, right? What's going on with your neck of the woods and your audiences? How are they seeing the space and getting involved?
So first thing, Hindu is now like a religion term or a religious term, but Indian is the audience. Just want to be sure that these guys don't jump up at me and they kind of abuse in the comment section. But abuses are put, by the way, comment section because that brings in more traction and more kind of comments and all of that. But now talking about the audience, so I don't do education stuff, right? Because I know that there are a lot more people around the world doing great job at it. I like to bring the fun element into Web3. I like to have fun conversations around Web3. And if I am talking to a personality, then I would like to know more about their lives, right? Because we need to also understand who these people are in reality, because most of them before some point of time was anonymous. And now when they're realizing that being anonymous is not helping, when they drop their mask and they come out in the open, we as audience would love to know who they really are. Like I was talking to Yak in Hong Kong, and I wanted to know where he grew up and how he grew up. He has a fantastic story while growing up. Most of us don't know that, right? We only, when we approach Yak, we want to check from him, hey, Yak, this is my project. Can you invest in it? Or, this is what I'm building. Can you connect me to this particular project which is under your portfolio? All that is great and important. No thoughts on that. But the way I would like to connect with them is more on a personal level. I would love to know, what is the mindset? Because I'm a big fan of mindset and a big believer of mindset, and I would like to promote that than anything else, because I'm sure that you guys and a lot more other people are doing fantastic work when it comes to blockchain education. I just want to bring in the fun element, the entertainment element of it, and have a freewheeling conversation.
That's very cool. So we actually do a little of both. So we do a deep dive interview about the technology, but then we have another section of the show called Edge Quick Hitters, where we ask our guests 10 fun questions to get to know them as a human. And I think what you said is so important, because I think blockchain, Web3, it all can feel very foreign to individuals, and people don't realize the depth of history of these people and why sort of they're in Web3. And it also, there's some interesting answers. Like, so one of the questions we asked, I'll ask you guys, what's the first thing you ever remember purchasing in your life? Who wants to go first?
Oh my God, that's a cool question.
Right, but it gets into the. I'll ask this. You got it. All right.
I got it.
Well, what do you got, Vali?
So my first job was selling ladies' bag on the streets of Bangalore, India, and I joined the job just to buy a Superman T-shirt, which my mother refused to buy, and I said, "Screw it, I'm going to buy it on my own." But how? So I started talking to my friends, and they said, we might know someone. So my job was basically standing on the streets and saying, Madam, please come. Madam, please come into the shop. That was all my job. And I think in a week's time, I made, about a couple of 100 rupees, which is like 5 dirhams as of now. Yeah. And I got to buy my Superman T-shirt. So
you answered the second question, and we actually asked, what is the first thing you ever sold in your life? So now we know.
I'm going to be honest. My first memory about to buy something, I'm a foodie lover, okay? And now you can see how addicted to sugar I am. But my first memory is to me buying chocolates in the school.
For you guys, if you love dark chocolate, comment down below.
And what about the first thing you sold?
Oh my God, bikinis. Because
They're even better than Lady in Bag.
the thing.
Come on, you know something that I was proud of, now I'm feeling ashamed of.
No,
Right? I should have sold bikini, but I was underage.
the thing is, I went to Argentina.
Hey, is
I-
there an opening right now?
What?
Is there an opening right now?
Oh, lips.
I'm going to sell bikinis there for a little.
It was a great business, I wanted to pay on my vacation. I was there. I was pretty young, and the thing is like, oh my God, if I want to be here like a lot of time, I need to sell something. Like I need to make money of something, and I don't want to, get a job to be there. No. So what I did, I bring like a lot of bikinis, and my mother told me, no, go for fat ladies. I know, sorry, but go for that because they will need it. They will need it, and I was great. I'm glad about it. I pay every day. 5 months of vacation was awesome.
There you go. See, so we're all entrepreneurs. So the first thing I sold, actually, it's quite relevant to sort of where we are now, and I think this is part of the human story. Is so before Game Boy, there were these cheap portable games you had to buy. They one-time use. So I was addicted to them. I had a lot of them, and my neighborhood friends were a little bit jealous. So I used duct tape on my porch, and I taped them all around, and I charged the neighborhood kids 25 cents per 10 minutes to play at my arcade. I set up like an arcade on my porch, and then a couple days into this adventure, I thought it was working well. The parents came to my mom and complained that I was extorting the neighborhood, and I had to shut down my arcade. But that was my first experience, and I think
It was smart. You made very good use of the resources that you had.
I lived in a Spanish neighborhood, and so I bought Spanish grapes at the store. I was addicted to kind of like a liche, but not quite. So I don't know the official name, but yeah. So really cool. And I think this sort of shows sort of the unique nature of everyone's story and how everyone's come together in this space of innovation and technology. And that's why AI for me was a natural sort of branching off point. We have a new show, Edge of AI, as well, where we talk to leaders in that space, not just blockchain, but across the entire realm of AI. For me, I'm just excited about emerging technology at the end of the day. And I think, with that comes the ability to create new possibilities. I like to tell the positive side of things, not focus so much on the negative. But, we do have some challenges in the Web3 space and in the AI space, and they do need the light as well. But I think it's about sort of, at the end of the day, having some optimism, because technology is here, and it's how can we use it to make the world better, right?
Exactly.
And before we end, I have a last question. I would love to know from you, what do you think will trigger the next bull run? So that is why they all stuck to hear this at the end.
So it's a great question. So I just asked that question to a group of very smart venture folks. I asked about, is it DeFi? Is it decentralized social? Is it gaming? Or is it about rewards and gamification? And I think for that group, the consensus was that we have an incredible array of AAA games that are coming out over the next few years that are going to be extremely impactful in our space. And I tend to agree with that because, you mentioned gaming. I've traveled around the world this year and past year, and gaming is just always in the conversation. People that say GameFi heated up and now it's cooled down, I just don't agree. I know there's an incredible amount of money that's already been invested in the gaming space, and games take 3 to 5 years to develop good games.
AAA.
Yeah, so we have not seen those games yet. And I think when Gala Games has dozens of games that have not launched yet, and I think there's a lot of other games being developed. I met some incredible entrepreneurs here in Dubai already, and when I was in Singapore that are building games that have not launched yet. And we love games, and there's inherent game mechanics that blockchain makes better. And so, I think the gaming industry, I've talked to gaming leaders in Web 2 and Web 3. I just interviewed WeMade and Come To Us, and they've made massive decisions for their huge companies to go all in on blockchain. And I don't think the world has seen the full impact of gaming yet. So I think that opens up other possibilities. I think that it's one of the purest use cases. I think it affects how brands work in the space, creators work in the space. I think gaming is in the DNA of our global economy. What about you?
No, I'm totally agree on that. I think we're going that way. If you see also like in the case in Latin America, Filipinas, we saw it before, and gaming is booming right now.
And Philippines, just FYI, has the highest number of wallets in the world.
Exactly. Philippines, yes, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of our audience is there, and particularly they tune in for the gaming episode. So they are curious. They're ingesting this knowledge around gaming a lot.
And a big shout out to Philippines Blockchain Week. The guys did a fantastic job there. It was a great event.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I heard great things about it. I know the team behind it. I couldn't make it this year. So are we in agreement on gaming, or do you have a contrary perspective here?
What would trigger the bull run?
Yeah.
According to me, it's not gaming or DeFi or anything of that sort. It is the Bitcoin halving that will happen in the first quarter of next year, and the Bitcoin ETF. So guys, do your own research. But this is a good possibility to trigger a bull run that we all are waiting for.
Yeah.
That we can get off the crypto winter and get some heat.
Yeah. Look, I've heard mixed perspectives on the impact of the ETFs. We know they're coming. They've also been shown to sort of decrease the sort of standard deviation of trading. But the happening has historically been very powerful, and that's happening. So I'm very optimistic, I would say, about Q3 and beyond of 2024. But I've been in this space for a while. I'm not leaving the space. This has been so much fun hanging out with you guys. I guess we should tell our respective audiences where they can go to learn more about the other shows. Vali, where do people find you?
You find me on YouTube with my name, Vaibhavv Ali. Vaibhav space Ali, A-L-I. So go there, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because that is important. If you don't hit the notification bell, you're not going to see the upcoming videos. And do the same even to their channels too. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, well, the same for us. You can follow us on our social medias. We are in TikTok. We are also in Instagram. We are in Twitter, also with LivelyVerse named. And, well, our TV show is Lively World. Right now it's on TV. It's in Cablevisión, Argentina. Right now, at the moment, we are launching on Wednesday at 11. But we will have our next season in March next year in UCL, 41 TV channels, 11 countries.
Amazing. So for our two shows, you can look up Edge of NFT on Google, or it's just at Edge of NFT on Twitter, Edge of NFT on YouTube. You can catch us on cable streaming through Defiance.media. We're on 30 channels and at least go to 90 countries. I'm not sure, maybe more. And then Edge of AI is our newest show. It's Edge of _AI on Twitter and edgeofai.xyz. And, you can find us on both shows on Spotify, on iTunes, also on YouTube. So definitely, if you're curious about those areas, check us out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking your shows out and having more fun this week. And all of you, this is a great way to kick off. We don't do this enough. Talk to our fellow media compadres. So this was great.
Just one last thing that I want to say is that Web3 is all about collaboration and not competition. If we creators can collaborate together, where the highest level of, we would love to compete with each other with that extra like, with an extra view, or with an extra comment. If we can sit down on a table, have a great conversation, why not you builders go out and collaborate? Thank you. And we'll talk about Argentina. I want to move there.
Yes. Exactly. No, but thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here, to be around people in the space with a lot of knowledge. So appreciate it very much.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.